Transfer videos are back because Wrexham AFC today have announced the signing of 36-year-old striker Steven Fletcher on a deal until the end of the season. I wasn't expecting to make a transfer video today, but we've come out of the blue, we've signed a striker. It was sort of expected because obviously we had to hand in our 22-man squad list the other day and we only had 21 names on that list, so it was clear that Parky possibly had a player in mind, and that player of course is Steven Fletcher. So yeah, before anything, if I look a bit red and if my hair's a bit off, it's because it's been absolutely boiling today in the UK because it's been 28, 29 degrees. Now, probably Americans watching this are probably going to be laughing at me, but yeah, it's been absolutely boiling today, so if I look a bit red, that's why. Let's get talking about this great signing of Steven Fletcher. It is official, Steven Fletcher has signed for Wrexham AFC on a deal until the end of this season. Now, the ex-Scotland international obviously has signed for Wrexham coming off that season in Scotland at Dundee United, where he did actually score 9 goals in 33 games, a relatively successful season. He was on a 2-year deal at Dundee, signed that last summer, but he's decided to terminate his contract early because he obviously didn't want to play in the Scottish Championship, and as Fletcher said, there's many reasons why he wanted to leave Dundee. I mean, it didn't take long to find a old match attack card of Steven Fletcher. I mean, I'm sure he was one that I got many duplicates of in the past, but yeah, I'm sure I was pretty annoyed about that at the time. But one thing I'm not annoyed about is the fact that he is now signed for my club, Wrexham AFC. Now, I'll just give you a quick profile on Steven Fletcher. Now, he's probably most well known for his time, like on this card here, his time at Sunderland in the Premier League, where he did actually score 23 goals in 94 games at his time in this stadium. He did also spend time in the Premier League for Burnley, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and most notably Sunderland AFC, where he did score 53 goals in 189 games, chipping in with 12 assists across his career in the Premier League. Now, if you do the maths, that records a goal every 2.8 games in the 7 years he spent in the top flight of English football. Now, I mean, 1 goal in every 2.8 games, what a return that is. You can't really ask for anything else. He's got a good scoring pedigree. He's an established and experienced striker who has scored goals in the Premier League. And not to note his club football, his international football as well. He did actually play for Scotland. He represented them 39 times, scoring 10 goals, and he only retired from international football in 2018, I presume, after they failed to make the 2018 Russia World Cup. So yeah, I mean, he's had a successful playing career in the Premier League and also at international level. Fletcher was a very sought after man at his time when he was playing in the Premier League. Wolves paid a record £6.5 million for Fletcher, where he did score 24 goals in 68 games. He couldn't help Wolves survive in the Premier League. Obviously, their relegation to the Championship meant that he wanted to get back into the Premier League as soon as possible, and that's where his move to the Black Cats came about. He did actually sign for Sunderland for £12 million in 2012. £12 million just over 11 years ago. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that we've now got our hands on him on a free transfer. Now, he had a very successful spell at the Stadium Malai, and then he made the switch halfway through the 2015-16 season to French giants Marseille, where he did actually play 12 games, scored 2 times, and obviously made a couple of appearances in the Europa League. So I mean, I didn't actually know that happened, that he did make that loan switch halfway through this season. I mean, he's gained valuable experience, not only international level, in Premier League level, and obviously abroad playing in Ligue 1 for Marseille. Now, since leaving Sunderland, Steven Fletcher spent time at Sheffield Wednesday, Stoke City and Dundee United. Now, since the year of 2020, just over 3 years ago, he has played 132 games, scoring 34 goals. He's been very active. I mean, he's 36 years of age. You think he'd maybe be slowing down a bit, but he's consistently been scoring goals at the highest level that you could probably ask for at the age of 36 that he is. Obviously, he's been younger and he scored goals previously when he was a lot younger, but to think he's 36 now and he's still scored 9 goals in the top flight of Scottish football. He scored 25% of Dundee United's goals that season, so he's still raring to go. He's active, and I still believe he can offer a hell of a lot to our team. Now, last season at the Tangerines, Dundee United, he had 11 goal involvements, which took him into the top 20% of players in the SPFL for goal involvements. That season obviously ended up playing 33 games with an average rating of 7.1, which is incredible. I think he was ranked 32 out of like 274 average match ratings in the SPFL, so it's an incredible average rating. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. It shows that he's a consistent performer. He can keep his performances really good throughout the whole of the season, and he's come to us fresh and hungry for goals, and that just shows from his stats and his average rating that age is just a number. Now I bet you're thinking we've heard the stats, now tell us a bit more about the type of striker that Steven Fletcher is. Now I think you can sort of understand what the type of player he is by his height. He's 6'1", he's a big lad, and he isn't really renowned for his speed, but he makes up with it for being powerful, great in the air, and isn't afraid to have a shot. Now in the last season that he did play in the 22-23 for Dundee United, he won the most aerial duels in the SPFL of any player. He was ranked number 1. He won 290 aerial duels, and he also had the most headed shots, 33. He leads the stats for the most aerial duels won and the most headed shots, so he'll definitely be a threat from set pieces, whether it be a corner, a free kick, and of course I believe he'll be most effective from that Ben Tozer bullet throwing. Although he doesn't have pace, he really does make up for it with his aerial attributes. It's interesting because I don't think this was the type of striker that we wanted to bring in, and I don't think this is the striker that we anticipated on bringing in. Obviously we wanted Luke Armstrong, but we know the whole situation with that, but he's probably the best of a small bunch that we could have got in. Obviously, there were rumours of Andre Gray, Connor Wickham. Out of the three of Gray, Wickham and Steven Fletcher has obviously been the most active. He's been the most consistent when it comes to scoring goals, and if you look at his stats, he's obviously had a really good last couple of years, so I'm happy with this transfer. So Fletcher has spoken on his move to Wrexham AFC. He said, "Hopefully I can bring a lot of experience. I'm 33, but I'm still fit and raring to go. One of the biggest selling points was the ambition of the club, and if I can help with that, then great." And obviously our gaffer Phil Parkinson said he spent most of his career at the highest level. He's an excellent professional, and it's really important to fit in with the group here. I think Parky obviously speaks really highly of him. Wrexham Twitter's been a bit in... It's not been positive, but it's not been negative. It's an interesting one because when I saw this signing, first of all, I obviously thought he's obviously going to be old, but obviously I didn't do much research into his stats, and it's clear to see he still has a lot to offer, and he should do really well in League 2, considering the level he has played at throughout his career. He hasn't really played as low as League 2, and although he's obviously coming to League 2 at the oldest age of his career, I still think he can offer goals, and I think he can still offer a lot to our starting lineup. And obviously, what does this mean to our starting lineup? Because we've seen that Steven Fletcher is a target man. He's good in the air, which is the same to Ollie Palmer, Sam Dolby. So yeah, it's an interesting situation for me. I don't really know what he'll go for. I mean, when everyone's back fully fit, do I believe he'll stick with the Palmer and Mullin combination? I think he will be, but we don't know. Steven Fletcher could massively impress and cement himself in that starting lineup. So yeah, I mean, it's going to add good competition to our front line, and it will certainly be interesting to see what happens. A man who's experienced, he's played at the highest level, he's got a good goal scoring history, he's good in the air and still raring to go. Sounds absolutely good to me. So let's say the words, welcome to Wrexham, Steven Fletcher. So yeah, what a signing this is. Make sure to get down there in the comment section, let me know what you think of it, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for the Doncaster Rovers vlog. What a signing this is. I'll show it for like the millionth time, but there's Steven Fletcher on the match attack card there. I mean, who'd have thought when I collected these 9 years ago that he would be putting on a Wrexham shirt? I saw a couple of other players that have played with Wrexham in the past as well. I might have to do a hunt for James McLean, but I saw a match attack of Augustine for Swansea City. Now, if you know his time at Wrexham, I think the less said the better, and I think that's the best way to end off this video. So yeah, take care, guys.